Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. Hope everybody had a great day. Solid day. Hope everybody is having enjoying their Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. So before we start, we're just gonna do introduction. Today's recap is from yesterday, from 11/27 recap. Was a solid day, was a very good day, both sides, morning shorts and calls, a lot of earning plays. Overall, a big day for the community. Yesterday was a big day for the community. So going to recap that. Before I start, let's just do a quick introduction. If you're new to my Twitter, if you're new to my YouTube, if you're new to my community, I'm going to speak slow today. My throat is kind of hurting. We have all these trade recaps, all these teachings are either from my Twitter, from my YouTube, or mostly they are from my community trades that I guide all day on the live, on the voice and the screen share. We trade a repeatable system, the repeatable system that's used by thousands of traders across the world to trade consistently and make profits in the market with small losers and big winners to grow their portfolio and accounts, be it day trade, swing trade, or be it long-term investing. Every morning, me and my team, we create a game plan for the day. You see this game plan for 11/27. This we have earning plays, we have breakout watch, the technical plays, upgrades, downgrades, news plays. We have all of this on our pre-market game plan so that we know what we're gonna play that day, what stocks can move and what stocks can give us an opportunity so that we can make best of it. So we will recap a bunch of these names. Most of them kind of gave us a lot of opportunity, a lot of range to make money in the market. Then I also have something called day 2, day 3 setups. This is my another repeatable strategy that I invented. We didn't have to do much on the day 2, day 3 strategy because just the news plays were so strong and giving us so many opportunities. So we're going to focus on those in today's recap. Additionally, we also provide the levels for crypto stocks like Coin, MSTR, CLSK. You can use these resources we provide every morning to trade on your own using our EMA Cloud system and using support resistance pivots. We also provide daily levels for SPY, QQQ, IWM, VIX, Apple, Microsoft, AMD, Netflix, Boeing, Amazon, Meta. All these names which are market dependent, I call them market plays, and we trade them based upon the support and resistance pivots. I will show you how we shorted the market for huge gains on the puts just simply on these levels and using the EMA Cloud system. So most of these paid pretty well. AMD, NVDA, most of them on the short side gave huge profits, and we will cover that as well. We also provide some additional lists, low float list, IPO list. There's a low float channel in the room where a lot of low float traders trade the low floats. All these education, everything is available. You can learn everything, all this education, if you want to learn from these YouTube videos. I have over 800 to 900 recaps from over last 2 years. You can watch them and run and become a self-dependent trader. If you want to join the community, all these teachings are documented in my webinars and presentations, starting from support, resistance, 4 pillars of the stock market, how to trade the morning setups, the midday setups, small account growth, earning season. Everything is covered in detail in those webinars. But most of my education, 95% education, is free. You can also go to ripstereducation.com. You can learn about how all these things, how we trade, and of course you can every day watch these recaps. I cover the various topics, various setups, so then you yourself can implement those and trade the markets. I'm usually on the voice in the community first few hours of the market open, guiding everybody through the trades, and I also put my ideas and my comments, anything that I'm trading, in my alerts feed so that the traders can see the guidance and trade along with me. There are hundreds of traders, 1,000+ traders on our trading floor all day, sharing idea in the community, providing great guidance to everyone. We have news bots, scan bots. We have 4 or 5 screen shares going on in the scanners, option flow scanners, all free, provided in the community. And of course, we have breaking news, Squawk. We have support, resistance, price alerts. So our community is a one-stop shop for everyone to come in and trade. especially if you want to be a professional trader, or if you want a professional trader. We do plan to launch our swing and investment research part soon as well. Anyways, little long introduction today, but just want as there was a lot of new traders who have been started to following me or join the community, so I just wanted to make sure I give a good introduction today. If you are in the community, make sure you watch all these recaps so that you understand how to play these setups, how to be ready in the pre-market with the pre-market game plan. Go through the game plan, and when I'm guiding these setups, you can follow. And whatever ticker you are playing, whatever setup you are playing, you are able to capitalize on it and make the profits. And if it's a loser, you're able to cut the loser at the right time. So make sure you watch these recaps carefully. Thank you for listening to the long introduction. Let's start. So let's start with the market today, right? So market is sold off today, and we nailed it. We nailed it to the downside. And I have been teaching you guys about how to trade at the open. So hopefully you guys been watching my previous videos and you nailed it today. So my interest today was mostly in QQQ. Why was my interest in QQQ? Because semiconductors were weak. So you should have an ability. To see that what sector is weak, right? What sector is weak? So semiconductor was weak, and we saw that in the morning itself. If you see my tweet, SPY QQQ bearish, SPY at over PM lows, QQQ's MTF breakdown, semi is heavy. So that means today it's a selling pressure. So right away I told everybody short QQQ's MTF. You see, first 1 minute when I saw the sell off, I said short it. You can see this is a repeatable setup, and this is QQQ short right here, and it was just short all the way down, because as long as Ripster clouds stay red, you stay short. You see that we are going from one MTF to the second MTF, right? So right away you see QQQ faded. You can see my timestamp. Most of my guidance was on the voice, but you can see that how I'm guiding through the shorts. And same for SPY. You could short it right here when it's broken. SPY was relatively stronger, but once it broke the pre-market lows, it faded all the way down. So that was a nice trade on QQQ today. Lot of puts went. A lot of the puts went over 200%. If you want to look at, let's see, check 507s, but you need to close those because these are 0 DTEs and they're going to lose value pretty fast if you don't cover them. So these are 507s. So you see that these ones went from since I told the shorts, basically you can trade any option, and you can trade leverage ETFs as well. You don't really have to trade the options. So you can see that it went from $1.25 all the way to $4, 200% more than that. So you could make, if you trade it with $1,000, you could easily make $2,000, $2,500 on top of that, as long as you're holding your shorts all the way down towards these flushes, right? Not going to spend too much time on it. I've been teaching you guys. It was very easy setup, repeatable, straight SPY QQQ for living. I've done a webinar on that. So let's talk about the calls now. So let's do that. So talking about the curls, guys, so the curl was mainly on QQQ's. Reason it was QQQ was better today was because we talk about the semiconductors were selling off, right? Always do a market analysis of what sector is weak, what is strong. You will see that, right? If I look at my market analysis, which I teach in my community, how to make these pretty simple, you should be able to make that. You see that semiconductor has been weakest all day. So semiconductor bounce would do in return give us QQQ bounce. So for me, the semi curls were more important. The curls on the QQQs were more important. That's why I sent a price alert when QQQ started to curl right here. I also sent out this VIX alert that if VIX becomes bearish or breaks 1450, you get long on the market for the QQQ curls. We'll talk about later how this helped in AMD curl, NVDA curl. So we'll talk all about that. But the point to understand here is that you short all day, That's, and I did even tweet about that. I guided people with these trades. You can see that on Twitter as well, step by step. We were breaking that, and then we were breaking that, we were flushing that, step by step. And then I talked about the curls, right? AMD curls, SOXL, so there were some curls. You can see that I even talked about the curls there, and after that you can see the curls on. We'll talk about that separately. But so let's see, how did the puts go. Of course, the lot of puts become a little risky at the end of the day, but if you trade something closer to in the money. So let's see these were 5 or 2 calls. So you see that, and you can see the calls on option chart as well. Even though you could get a better entry, let's say you're taking it to $1.60, those went to 340. So the calls, they went to 100%. So we will talk about other calls that we did, but overall market, you need to understand what is weak, why QQQ is more weak than SPY, or SPY is a little slower than QQQ. Understand the sectors, and you will be able to trade SPY QQQ for living, make live earnings every day. We've been killing SPY QQQ. If you're really interested to learn more about SPY QQQ, go watch my previous recaps. It's all there. If you can't do that, then you can, of course, come join the community. You don't have to. I never ask anybody to have to, but you can. I did this free webinar, which SPY QQQ Trade for Living. It's a 2.5 webinar. You can come in the community and watch that and learn everything. But everything that I've been talking about there is included in what I teach you here, or Twitter, or on the, everything is free, right? But that's more organized. So anyways, hopefully you guys learned it, and hopefully you guys are executing my SPY QQQ strategy every day, day in, day out. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so second, this is just the continuation of, QQQ was heavy, and I was talking about shorting the SAMIs all day in the community, specifically AMD short, NVDA short, AVGO, Qualcomm, everything short. Why was that? So you know that QQQ is breaking the MTF cloud, pretty easy short. You look at SOXL, right, the short right at the open. We look at Marvell, and all these semiconductor lists we trade every day. I have this list open every day. Let's look at any of this, pick any of them, and they were short. So all the semiconductors, when you know that a sector is weak, that sector is weak, you take it and you short it. So I talked about how Qualcomm was weak. I talked about how AVGO was weak. So there are opportunities all across the board. And that's why I talk about that. You can short any of the semiconductors, right? Look at the sector, or you can just short the sector, or you can go long SOXS, make money that way. Go long SOXS. XOS ran from 24 all the way to $25, right? So you can you can short QQQs, or you can short the semiconductors which were the weakest. Let's talk about the specific semiconductors. So the main one, let's talk about NVIDIA, of course, Qualcomm, AVGO, all those were great shorts, a lot of opportunities to make money there today. But NVIDIA was a great short because it broke this 50, 55 MTF, Ripster MTF clouds. And let's look at NVIDIA swing looking good overnight. Nice. So anyways, we were breaking these MTF clouds, and if you look at the levels on NVIDIA that I gave in the pre-market, there were 135s, basically 135 level. So once it broke 135, it was a clean short, no question asked, just shorted. And that's what I mentioned as well on NVIDIA. Let's see, NVIDIA short under the pivots, semi-heavy. The first thing I told everyone was right at the open. So we are shorting QQQs and we are shorting NVIDIA. And NVIDIA has lost so much flow. I mean, look at that flow. It's a crazy amount of flow. So look at the amount of flow that NVIDIA has, and you can literally short it. I prefer the shorting with the shares. You can short with the options by the puts. We look at 136 puts. They went from $2 to $4. They were 100% trade. You could take it, but this was a nice fade end of the day. And then I called the curl on NVIDIA as well when we were doing this 512 curls. So that was a 512 curls. Right here, I sent the price alerts that we are curling. So NVIDIA was also a curl, and I told everyone to hold the swing overnight. So you see Ripster, repeatable setup. This is why you long, where you long. This is where you put stops in, and now our swing is even going up. When we shorted NVIDIA, it was all with we had a flow as well. We had our system, repeatable setup. Nobody's buying the dips from here to here. Nobody's buying the dips under my teachings, either it be in my community or be my follower or those who watch my YouTube videos. None of us were buying the dips here. We are all short. Everybody's buying the puts or shorting it. This is where we long, and look at how much we longed. And you can see that I told everybody to hold over 3450. MTF target, swing it. Now swing is looking pretty good after hours. So next one, a similar trade today was AMD, right? So AMD was our swing. Swing is different account, which took a loss on the swing because what was happening was AMD broke, the big support level. So we got out, right? AMD swing did give us a $5 yesterday. It's good if you lock the profits. And, I had some position, I left it over, nothing big, but once you break the 1 hour trend, that's your first signal to get out. We could have get out here at 140 as well. But anyways, got out of today, and we did get back in the swing. I'll talk about it later. But first, it was a short. So AMD was a short, as I told you in the morning. The levels from the pre-market were pretty clear. 137, 136.62. You short it, you do not buy it, let it fade. There was a buy at 133. Under that, we were looking at 132. But then when it starts to base, right, this is a basing formation. This is what you need to know. When it starts to base, a basing formation, and it starts to show you this base curl, you start to lock your profits, get out, and look for the longs. And this is where we get our curls on that 512s, and VIX is breaking down, QQQ is curling, the market is trying to bounce. That becomes A plus curl, right? So let me show you there was alerts that I sent through AMD curls. You see this first alert. I mean, you can start before that as well. A C minus setup, start along here at 133s, 30s, put 40-cent risk. And for example, we got a 133.82 alert, so you go long there, you have 80-cent risk, and then look how much you made, right? You made more than $3, and now we are swinging it. So we're swinging it as well. So I said curl stops at 133.30. We always put the stops. If you're taking this curl, your stops are always under the last candle lows. That's how you play the curls on these setups. That's where you put your stops. And AMD was a beautiful winner. So you see that how we short semiconductors in all day long, and then we long it. And we are not buying in here, and we are not shorting in here. Those are the buyer setups. That's where you lose money. So I'm showing you time-stamped guidance, my voice guidance. I'm alerting on Twitter as well. I did tweet on Twitter as well. Let's see here. Let's see. So on A1 AMD, you see that I tweeted calls, SOXL 25 held, QQQ 512s, VIX breakdown. And after that, we see the push, right? AMD pushed right across, right high up there, and then goes right into the over 3450s. So you see that I'm sharing my thoughts on Twitter. I'm sharing the community on voice so that everybody learns it, right? There's no hindsight, there's no BS. You can see the long here that I mentioned. I always encourage traders to be active on the floor. Of course, hundreds of traders are giving their own ideas. If you ask me, if you do not, you should know the option basics. If you want to trade options with the shares, it's easy. Your stop is clear, your setup is clear, and all these setups are repeatable, guys. We do it again and again. And the point is, when we make money, we make good money. If I'm making 5,000 every day, I can't lose more than 1,500 a day. because my target is to make 5,000, just an example, but I can't lose 10,000 a day or 15,000 a day. So that's how you build it, and hopefully you learn this setups. Hopefully you mastered how we shorted and how we curled everything. So this part of the video was very important for you guys to learn, that how to handle the market both short and long. And I showed you live, I showed you the setups, my Twitter comments, I showed you the levels we have, the planning we have in the pre-market. It never works without pre-market planning. So anyways, that was all the marketplace. Let's go to the news plays now and see how we nailed all of those news plays. All right, the first one we're going to talk about is AMBA. So AMBA was my favorite setup. So, I talk about it every day. We talk about these setups. So AMBA was my favorite setup. My favorite setup is gap and crap setup. So let's talk about that for a minute here. So let's see. So we had a pre-market plan. Let's look there. Let's see at a pre-market plan on AMBA. So our pre-market plan on AMBA was pretty clear. Short under 80, long over 83. Revenues increase and top the forecast. That's fine, good news. That's why it's gapping up. But in the pre-market, I saw that it's breaking my clouds. So when it's breaking my clouds, you can always look at the Ripster labels if you have any problem figuring out the trend. So it was breaking the clouds, and that's why I knew if it breaks 80, it's going to be a short. And you can see that a lot of traders were on AMBA all day in the community. RGV was guiding. Jordan made 140%. Jordan made 140% on that. Those puts, Salim, Praxis, a lot of the traders just literally nailed AMBA today, right? Why was it? Because everybody knows that AMBA is an A+ setup. It's a gap and crap setup, right? We have a pre-market planning. So anyways, I said short right at open versus 82. I gave the 82 stops. First flush, I said cover there. As soon as it's bounced, I said you short the pop here. Short the pop here, right here. Because closer to the clouds you enter into position, lesser your risk, more chances of the reward. And when we shorted that pop and the stops over the cloud, that went on to fade right back to 72s, from 78 to 72s, then from 74s all the way to 71s, and you get out when it curled 512s. So that was almost $7 per share profit, $7 to $8 per share profit on AMBA. And twice you could short first, cover here, let it bounce, short again, and that's a repeatable system. And you see the gap. We are hitting 5 Fibonacci, 6.1 Fibonacci. MTF clouds are always our first target. So you can see all the timestamp guidance from the short first, short the pops, targets, beautiful pre-market planning, no hindsight, no BS. That's how you have exponential winners. You see Jordan did pretty good there, and many other traders. His options went 140%, so that was good. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's look at next one was workday. So we short which our system tells us what is short, we short it. But then the system tells us what is long, we long it. Our system, if you're new to my YouTube videos, my system, there's nothing like this, our trading system that we have. A lot of traders, thousands of traders use it, but still, so share it with others, like the video, subscribe, and share with others about how good this system is, so everybody can see the beauty of this system. And I'm going to show you now the long side on how the Ripster clouds help us to go long. So what was our plan? So workday was just the opposite of AMBA. You make AMBA upside down, and that's your workday. All right. So let's put some Fibonacci's. Let's see. So this was our plan. Bearish bias to short the pops, but cautious of 512 curls, right? 235 support, 242, 245. So basically over the resistance pivot, the stock becomes bullish. So once it pushes over the 512s, it's no longer a short. I clearly told everyone not a short. Why? Because it's pushing over the 512 curls. And that's after 10 minutes on this pullback. That's when I told everyone 512 curls. That means it's a 512 curl long. Then I told that over 3450 we can push to next leg will be next leg, and your stops will be 240. I gave the stops of 240, and then Then I gave a stop when we pushed towards the first MTF target. I gave stops of 34.50. Then there's no reason to cut. Just hold, just hold. Watch my previous videos. They will explain you how to maximize the options by rolling. I covered it in various previous videos. And then you see we longed at 240, 242. We got 260, $20 per share profit there, right? $20 per share profit, and you can see that everything planned, guidance, and just a home run for everybody in the community there, right? It's a repeatable process. This is how the system told me that I have to short AMBA, and system told me that I have to long workday. Right, the lot of 22050 lots went 300%, right? So if you invested in $1,000, you got back $3,000. So and you see that we pushed into both the MTF clouds, 50, 55, 20 MTF, 1 hour MTF, and so much strength on workday, just reversed like beautifully, right? I mean, it's just amazing how workday kind of worked and pushed right back up. So let's go to the next one. All right, let's look at let's look at CrowdStrike, right? So what was CrowdStrike doing for us? So CrowdStrike was also one of our top plays today. We wanted to long it, but you see this big push right before the pre-market open, that kind of spoiled our long setup. So let's see, the pre-market planning on CrowdStrike was 350 support, 352 support. If that breaks, means we no longer long. Resistance pivots 364, 360, bullish bias, no go under 350, 344. So that was the planning. So we were going to be no go under 350, 354. So as soon as it breaks this 512s and breaks this, this MTF clouds, so I knew that was a short, right? So right away when it broke that, I said it's a short. It's a 512 short. First target I gave was 345, still heavy. And then once we broke this 3450, I told everyone to put your stops here, right here, over 3450 clouds. And then as we start to flush down, move your stops down, bounce a little, 512 fade, and I said 512 rejects. Gave another short, set up one short, set up two short, never turned over the clouds, 512 reject, still heavy, all day short from 352s all the way to 340, $10 per share short. If you shorted the 512 rejects, you could short make another $5-6 there. So that was the short, and you see how our bias changed, right? This was because gap down, fill the gap, right? Not fill the gap, basically it retraced back into that gap zone. So you see this is what's happening, right? Come down gap zone. So now if it held this level, we would have longed it, but basically everybody who was stuck, who got scared by the sell-off, took profits right away, right? The buyers come in, they push it up, but the sellers who were scared, let's see, you were a buyer and you were scared when it sold off here, and when you got an opportunity to get out, you got out right here. And of course the market was weak, and that helped with the short. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's talk about next plays. I mean, there were so many plays today in the community, guys. It was just amazing. So SYM was another one which was a short, if you want to see here. So SYM, as you see, let's look here. Let's see. Symbiotic cuts outlook, delays filing. I was running short on the time, so I didn't give the game plan, but you don't really need the game plan. You can see it's bearish, you see it's under 512, you see it's breaking the pre-market lows. That's why I told everybody watch the pops, short the amateur move, told everybody to short it. SYM faded all day from $24 to $22, nice $2 per share profit, easy trade, because I could read the price action when it's not going over the 512. So beautiful trade. So let's look at DELL. So DELL was one of our losers because it chopped us up. You see, when I'm trying to trade something, I don't want this. I want either something going this or something going this, right? When this happens, it's a chop. So how did we lose? Let's look at it. So we lost because we got a short at the pre-market low break, and what happened was it swiped right back up. And again, it was an amateur move, right? You might see that a lot of my losers are usually amateur move because I'm trying to get a good entry, and if it was falling, I would have double down on it. But anyways, you see, let's widen it up. Cloud reject. Let's see what was the plan on DELL. Let's see. On DELL, only long if 123 holds, short if clouds reject. Watch the 512 MTF. Clouds reject. So you see the clouds rejected 126. So that tells you it's bearish. Once we were breaking this level and right at 123s, that told me that's a confirmed short, but the amateur move did not confirm it, So it was maybe, maybe if I look at trend move, it was maybe not a confirmed short, right? So because it will happen sometimes, and it's swiped right back up. So what you do is when it goes here, you get right out, right? Or because it's going to push higher, and it did push higher. If you are long, you will still stop out when it pulls back, so it will chop you, right? It's hard to get the best entry on this chop. And then some people did short it, here, and I told them to make sure you cover it here, because this is the same level it bounced on us. And see, it double bottomed and bounced, failed. Then 512 curls, failed. So this action is very hard. So make a screenshot of it. And I didn't even talk about it after that, right? I didn't even talk to, once it did this to me and did this, and I was done with it, right? I was done with it. After the first half 1 hour, I had no interest because there were so many other good setups. So, but you need to understand that when this happens, compare this to the workday or AMBA or other faders, you will see why DELL was a loser short in the morning on the amateur move. Even if you try to trade it later, most than likely it chopped you out until you had a perfect entry here, perfect short entry here, so we'll see how it does tomorrow. But there definitely, if it breaks this 122, it can fade more, so we have to watch it. All right, let's look at next one. Next one we're going to look at is HPQ. So HPQ was another short there. This was my voice guidance on HPQ. So HPQ, neutral bias, watch the 512 curls, daily MTF, 36 and 3650 were two levels we were watching. Once I saw this breaking down right under this 36 level, I told everybody on the voice that HPQ is a short, and 35 was my first target. And then I told everyone if 35 is a key level, if it breaks, we can go lower, and it broke 35 and it went all the way to 33.73. See, again, good short, right? Beautiful short, easy short. You see where I talked about it on the voice, and you could trade it. And this is what you want to see. Compare this to the DELL, and you will see how the gap down fade works, how the cloud system is telling you that we are unable to go over the key MTF clouds, which makes us a bearish setup, bearish chart. Let's look at some more setups. Today was crazy. There were so many plays in the community today. IREN. So IREN was a long, right? So we definitely had a few longs as well. So as soon as IREN, you see there's MTF cloud, 3450 cloud. The pre-market planning on IREN was long over MTF, 1020 short under. Right? So right away it ripped because you have so much strength here. You have MTF1 cloud, MTF2 cloud, 3450 cloud. So I told everybody 3450 long, and it pulled back a little but reclaimed. Basically it had held trend all day. So I did tell everybody to log some at 10:30 when we pushed to 1220s. It was definitely $1. You could make $1.50 by risking 50 cents, but you have to get in right away at the open. This was the opening trade. You can see I talked about it at 9:36. Since I talked about it, it ran another buck, and beautiful trade. We had another long in the community. So this is the beauty of the earnings season. There's so many setups, right? Urban Outfitters, bullish to neutral if clouds hold. 45, 44, 46 were my two levels. And you see once it broke 45, once it broke that 46 level, it was off to the races. You could literally trade it long all day. You can see this breakout, pull back to the pre-market lows. That's another entry. You could long it again for a couple of dollars. But you see this is what tells you that staying long. The 3450, the system is telling you that it's staying long. It was a little choppy, but amateur move would have chopped you, but definitely it was a good long. All right, let's look at another one. That was NTNX. NTNX was also a short all day. You see breaking 1 hour MTF cloud, then it broke, 2021 MTF, it was a big move for it. I mean, it traded like 300% its average ATR. It usually trades $2 and it traded $8. So that was a huge ATR, guys. And the options on NTNX, just went to the moon. Let me show you here. Let's see, how we traded today and how was it, how was the trade set up. Let's look at it here. So let's see on that. So you see that, but the problem is these are very illiquid options, right? It's better to short them with the shares. The stocks which the options are illiquid, you cannot trade because the spready options will kill you because there's no liquidity. So that's a big problem, right? That's a huge problem, is there's no liquidity. So if we can look at 77, let's see which one to look at. I'm trying to find a volume here. Let's look at these 70 ones which had a kind of decent volume but not much. So you see that one went from like $2 to $4, right? Nobody trades these options, so you have to short the shares. So you have to short the shares, and you see that if NTNX was, I will show the pre-market short. I told everybody short right open. I gave the 70 target. It went to 66. Right, so you can see the timestamp guidance right here, and you can see the NTNX neutral buy short under 76, long over. That easy peasy. So you can see how many opportunities we have. This one was another gap and crap. System tells you short. Ripster Clouds tells you short. Step-by-step guidance tells you that. Pre-market planning tells you that. This was just one of those amazing days. We killed everything. All right, let's look at the next one. Next one we're going to talk about is APP. So APP was, I think it was a day 2 setup. Let's see. So APP was actually, there was an upgrade. So it doesn't really mean that if it is upgrade, it has to go up. It means if it has an upgrade or downgrade, it will have volume. And you see it was over 1 hour MTF clouds when in the pre-market, but then it broke the 1 hour MTF cloud and then it becomes a short. That was the MTF short there, right? So you see it faded all day. All right. So let's look here at Tesla today. So Tesla, it was a short this morning. If you see that, where was it? I was too busy with other names, so I didn't short it, but we'll talk about the dip buying by win. You see it was 342s and it faded to 326. I mean, that was a huge range on it, right? It faded from 42s to all the way 26. And since the market is weak, we covered the market weakness, we covered the market heaviness. You could short it 3450 cloud break, pre-market loss break, yesterday's loss break. Market was heavy, QQQ was heavy, no stopping you to short it, right? No stopping you from short it. And let's see here, let's look here at the level on Tesla. You see that, right? 340, 338. Once those levels were gone, it was just a short. But I want to talk about this long that Win gave it. This was a D- long, but Win read the tape. He saw the buying pressure. Even though it was a bearish cloud system, he had a conviction to the long because he could see the buyer. You see how much volume coming in here. He could see the buying pressure. That's why he gave everybody long versus 326. And from his long, it ran all the way to 332. And even after it ran to 334. So you pause the screen, read carefully what he's talking about. Why did he take this C- setup? You can always, in rare occasions, you can definitely take this, C- setup. But you have to understand why are you taking it. You have to read it. You have to be able to read the price action, the buying pressure, the extension, and you have to read, where it's bouncing from. It's actually bouncing from 13 EMA on daily. What's going on there? All right, let's go to the next one. I just want to talk about Amazon a bit. We were long on Amazon yesterday, and all day Amazon was a long. When same thing. When something has ran too much prior day and the market is heavy next day, and if you see it breaking the clouds and the pre-market lows, it's an easy short. So that's why Amazon was an easy short, even though it curled later in the day. Amazon was an A plus short right here. It was a day two short because it ran so much yesterday, and today it gave you that opportunity to make some money on the short side, right? So just wanted to cover that. All right, guys, happy Thanksgiving. See you tomorrow on Black Friday. Make sure if you want to join our community, you can take advantage of the promo, but come for education and guidance. Do not come for the alerts. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.